Welcome back. Well, during the hard lockdown, during the height of the pandemic, it emerged that while our farmers were producing more food than normal, they had a good year, for most people on the street, what they actually paid for food was more expensive. It turned out there were two big factors that played a role. Researchers told us one was that you could not shop around and go from supermarket to supermarket on a Saturday morning looking for washing powder here and apples there. You couldn't go and find the best deal. The other really crucial factor was that you could not go to fresh food markets. You couldn't shop for vegetables and fruit at a taxi rank or on your way home or on a pavement because they were not being supplied in the normal way. That pushed food prices up because those markets were not functioning properly. Now there's a warning that these fresh food markets are under more pressure and more stress, and farmers may stop supplying them. Willie Jacobs is the CEO of Potatoes SA. Willie, good afternoon to you. Over 1/3 of the produce sold at these markets is potatoes, what your members produce. You must know these markets well. Why are farmers frustrated with them? Why do they not want to supply these markets anymore? What's gone wrong?
I think to a large extent it's also a function of what's been happening in the terms of the change in government over the past few years. We all know that most of the fresh produce markets traditionally belong to the local municipalities, and it was run and managed by those municipalities as well. Now, you also understand that the budgets of these municipalities came under strain for quite a number of years now because of, deteriorating infrastructure and things going along with that as well. And I think this basically spilled over to what the situation is with the fresh produce markets at the moment as well.
So what you're saying is there's a problem with infrastructure. When that happens, no one wants to go and shop there, no one wants to go and supply there.
Yeah, look, I mean, the case that we've been battling with, specifically with our local, with the Tshwane market, has made headlines quite a number of times already. And, you know, the conditions are really harsh there, to such an extent that a group of market agents also started taking the Tshwane market to the legal route as well. Now, that's not necessary. You know, I think the fact of the matter is we really cannot do without the situational position where these markets are, and specifically related to your initial message to be able to connect specifically with the hawkers and let's call it the small traders market as well.
So if these markets don't work properly, what happens to consumers? They're the ones who in the end have to pay more. The hawkers, the informal traders can't connect with the markets. They can't get it from the farmer. What that means is that prices go up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think to a larger extent, what makes it a bit more difficult is these markets are actually the more transparent pricing mechanism. So what happens is we've got an ability to actually record the pricing that's happening in these markets, and that's a reference price for people to pay for product. So in the long run, we actually start losing out on the ability to really understand what the actual value is of a product that you should pay for in specific conditions.
There's another issue here, which is that it may also change what people eat. So people have started to move away from potatoes towards very processed foods like noodles. They've been doing that because they don't need to cook them for as long, and during a time of load shedding when power prices are so high, it becomes cheaper. Now, you may find that actually, because these markets don't work, people are going to buy more noodles, eat less potatoes, but along the way, eat less tomatoes, eat less fresh food, all of those things that children need in particular as well.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily the case that would happen because of the fact that the fresh product itself has got a very high esteem in most of the consumers' minds as well. It is more a situation of, let's call it the access to those type of products will basically determine what the decision would look like. As much as we would want to believe our larger consumer is the one that's looking for convenience foods, we also need to understand that actually the largest population in South Africa just need to make sure that they've got a healthy, nutritional meal on the table every day. It's sad to say, but it becomes more expensive for the larger population to actually access a product at a very reasonable price. And that basically just reduces their capacity to physically purchase proper foods, rather than them moving to, let's call it, more convenient type style foods.
Is it simply a governance problem, or is it a policy problem? Does each council that manages these markets, are they managing them badly in different ways? Or is the way that the policy works around them, does that need to be changed across the whole country?
It's a combination. To a large extent, you know, the transition between management teams and those type of things in an environment that's governed by politics means that your normal attrition process doesn't happen. So in other words, there's no handover in terms of what the instructions are. I think that a lot of people that are sitting in governmental positions really know what the exact mandate is. I was taken through an induction process coming in here. I had somebody to guide me in terms of the decision making and those type of things. It doesn't happen when you are being appointed through a political system. That's the first thing. The second thing is in terms of policy. Policy, to a large extent, is being developed over time, and it's very rigid. So how do you know how to change policy if you really don't know what the content of your job looks like? So I think to a large extent for us, it's important to start learning exactly the content of what our responsibilities look like, and to be able to, you know, share that and really, you know, just come to grips to what we're sitting in a position with.
Willie Jacobs, thank you. CEO of Potato South Africa. I really do appreciate it.